We have seen the biggest stampede in Australian history in the silver market from synthetic to physical. So I have had all sorts of customers, we're talking 10, 11, 12 tons that I can record by multiple clients who have switched from these synthetic products to physical. So we are seeing a revolution in the silver market. And the reason why is because when a retail investor realizes they own nothing and they want to legally own some silver, and they make the switch from unallocated or pool allocated or an ETF to either physical direct ownership that they will take away and store it somewhere themselves, or if they go to allocated and they have a counterparty storing it for them, they will never go back to synthetic. They will never go back to a synthetic product. And so we have seen the biggest stampede in Australian history in the silver market from synthetic to physical. So I have had all sorts of customers, we're talking 10, 11, 12 tons that I can record by multiple clients who have switched from these synthetic products to physical, but also in the private sector in Australia that offer these synthetic products. I have connections across the industry, and they have said that their own clients have come en masse to stand for physical delivery, and they're getting out of these synthetic products. And so since then, people around the world are waking up to this situation with synthetic gold and silver. They're making the switch, and what we're seeing is a structural, permanent change to the silver market. And that hasn't abated this week. So again, the more physical that gets drained out of the system, that's going to exacerbate shortages right across the network, and that's going to obviously apply more pressure at COMEX. And so Craig Hemke, he's one of the best experts in this area, and he was able to see before anyone else. And obviously, what he precisely said has come to be. And I think people around the world are now waking up to this fractional reserve nature of what's going on, and that is obviously driving investment behavior. The other key point I'll say, the public relations campaign of the Perth Mint has been an absolute catastrophe. Richard Hayes, the CEO of the Perth Mint, has attempted to restore confidence among Australian customers by using the mainstream media, all propaganda pieces, no tough questions, no investigative journalism by the Australian press to date, and that has not inspired confidence. Every time he speaks, he's actually making people question him in the Perth Mint even more. The other thing I will say is I think the Perth Mint has completely misjudged its customer base. The Australian press in general don't speak about gold and silver on a regular basis. Australian customers who want information about the market, they go to the alternative media. So if Richard Hayes wanted to actually calm the Australian market down, and we're going to actually talk to Australian investors directly, and so by the fact that he tried to go through the mainstream media route, he again completely misjudged the market, and he's actually helped exacerbate this situation in Australia by the way he's been speaking on the record. He speaks like a banker, and that again is a red flag to people in the alternative media space who are looking for truth and justice and honesty rather than spin and propaganda. There has been more silver flowing out of the Perth Mint. So again, not everyone is successful, but there is a higher success rate of people actually getting some silver. There is evidence that the Perth Mint has changed its production schedule. So whereas there was a 4-month wait on 1 kilo bars, they're actually producing quite a few number of kilo bars over the last, say, a week to a week and a half. So I think the public pressure has actually resulted in the Perth Mint changing its production schedule, and they're producing more silver for their investors, both for new orders as well as for their synthetic customers. But still, even though that silver is flowing, there's been a lack of communication about what is the real situation at the Perth Mint. And now they have been importing, from what I understand, quite a bit of product out of China, but what they have been typically doing is they've been melting them down and recasting them as Perth Mint bars, and obviously by doing that they can be assured that the bars are 99.9% purity and everything's above board. But with some of these other bars this week, rather than actually melting them down and recasting them, They're actually just saying we're going to sell you a direct Chinese bar, and there's a lot of Australians who don't want that. I mean, they're doing business with the Perth Mint because they want a Perth Mint bar, because the Perth Mint is internationally recognized as in terms of being a refiner of the highest quality, in terms of their quality, their standard, and their reputation. And that has been a huge controversy, and that's obviously driven some concerns. And the other, I think, big thing is that now we're moving away from talking only about Perth. Now there are conversations about other shortages around the world. So the largest online dealer in the UK, called Bullion by Post, they appear a couple of days ago to be running short of coins. So there was a limitation as to how much could be placed on order. Then at the UK Mint, they ran out of silver bars. So you go into their website, and typically it says it's in stock. So for silver bars, there was nothing in stock, whereas for coins, there was still product in stock. And obviously, there are now questions about the synthetic products of Kitco. I've heard rumors over the last few weeks about Kitco, but then I've had people who directly have contacted Kitco and have been basically told. So one person sent me a long message yesterday, and I reposted on Twitter. He was told point blank by a Kitco employee that Kitco's product is not 100% backed. So this is a conversation that's happening around the world, and I think people's eyes are being opened. We're going to sort of take this forward. If those who are saying there's an international syndicate and there's a conspiracy, if you think this is too far-fetched, you just have to ask the question: how did Craig Hemke write an article on the 2nd of February saying that Perth, Zurich, or Montreal is going to blow up, and it blew up? So the fact that Craig Hemke could foresee it and he called it, that should tell journalists who don't have expertise in the silver market that there is something of an international nature going on, and that's why Craig Hemke could forecast it before anyone else. If someone actually wrote down how much money there is in these synthetic products around the world and added them all up, we're talking the billions of dollars. And so when we talk about the movement, I mean, we are the whale. I mean, those with synthetic products, if they en masse, and I should say, I mean, they are in a big way, at least in Australia, maybe a lesser extent in Europe and North America, but in a big way in Australia, the money is moving. And so, but if this was a global movement across US, Canada, UK, Europe, if we all moved our money from synthetic to physical, we're talking billions of dollars, and we're talking billions, we're talking, hundreds of millions of ounces. So while everyone's sort of thinking that there is a number of whales circulating around the COMEX for the main contract, all I can say is that if you think that you have no power and this is a hopeless situation about stopping silver market manipulation,